Welcome to Afloat. Got a lot to talk about.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you, Jake?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
How was
Good
your
to see you.
Good to see you. What's up? What's the scuttlebutt? How was your weekend?
It was good. Very, very busy. I was getting ready to leave to come paint college apartments. So that's where I'm at now, living the college life.
Yeah.
And these apartments are disgusting, and I'm glad I never did that.
Yeah. So what do? Do you paint like you just go through and spray?
So basically, we're like part of the prep crew. So I'm covering all the floors, the doorknobs, like all that kind of stuff, appliances, getting everything prepped so they can come in and just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So it's going really good. They're not actually, the apartments aren't that bad. I have seen way worse. These ones aren't actually that bad. So it's all good. Yeah, it's
You
going good. How are you guys?
good? We had a good weekend. Um we were trying to camp.
Yeah.
There was not cooperating. So
Oh,
it brought out my Chelsea's least favorite um temperament that I have.
I can't wait to hear this. What is it? I can't even imagine.
It's when it's like if there's no plan, like
Yeah.
he's like, well, we'll go up to the campsite, but if it's gonna be rainy, I don't want to stay, so we could go up to the campsite, but then we'll just play by ear, maybe just come home that night and then go back up the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would we go up there just to go back home and then go back up there the next morning? And then
Yeah.
and then the weather wasn't what we thought it was going to be. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. So we go up Friday night. We do have a nice night. We have a fire, make dinner,
Yeah.
relax. But then we go home, and then we get up in the morning thinking the weather was going to be bad, but then the weather wasn't bad. So then at some point we went back up. It was only like an hour, but we went up to Livingston Manor, which is this cool town. Did
Oh, really?
um,
What do you have there?
it's just like a little main street. They've got like a cool like outdoor shop and a cool market
Uh,
that just like all the little New York towns upstate that are fun.
oh, cool. Yeah.
Did that, and then it started
Yeah.
raining. So we're like, well, we'll camp, but we'll just wait till the rain stops. Well, the rain was insane, so we literally um, just went home again Saturday night.
You just don't like the guessing game. It's like the guessing game of like, well, maybe we'll do this, maybe we won't, and then it didn't work out. Okay, well, we'll do this, we'll do that, and you're like, I'm just gonna go home.
Or it's like we'll go up, but we might just we'll maybe we'll stay, or maybe we'll go home.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what we're doing, so then I become a little bit of a pill.
I become what the locals call a pill.
Yeah, yeah. Go for no.
Yeah.
Your audio's off.
Oh my gosh. Is this gonna keep happening? Am I ruining the pod?
No, this will be the technical difficulties episode.
Yes, yes, that's what we'll call it. That's perfect.
So if you freeze, we're gonna act like you're just listening. So try to keep your
Yeah.
face like super like, oh my god, what? Exactly.
And then they'll like tell a super tragic moment about, whatever. And I'm like,
And then my dog died, and you're gonna be like, oh really?
I love that.
All right, before we get to them, I just have to play you just for instant feedback to our podcast.
Yeah.
Two.
Okay.
Nika couldn't even finish the podcast before she had to chime in. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna play
Okay.
it for you and tell me if you can hear it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, I just want to let you know I'm listening to your podcast right now, and I am so angry. What are you even saying? Everything you're saying is not even true. Like the serial dating comment, and she only writes songs about her ex-boyfriends. That is actually so not true. She wrote two whole albums of just stories. Like they're not even real people. They're not her ex-boyfriends. So
Oh
that's
my God.
so many things.
So mad.
I'm angry. to defend you.
Okay.
Saying I'm not even done with the podcast yet, and I'm just rolling my eyes, and I'm just like, what are you even saying right now? All right, yep, you're almost losing a follower here.
Swifties coming in hot for you
Desired response achieved.
that you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what you wanted.
Yeah. Love it.
That is so funny. I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah. I told her she can come on the pod, defend her. Maybe. All right. Let's have our guest come on, Paul. And I
Yeah,
Sarah too.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Hi.
You got all dressed
Hi,
up.
Paul. Hi, Sarah.
Well, there's a t-shirt right underneath, but then the blazer. So I figured it's a good,
You
know.
both
Miami
look
Vice.
phenomenal. You
Yeah.
look phenomenal.
Love it. Nice to see you.
Thanks, man.
So the first thing I was thinking about this morning that I wanted to ask you about is I remember when I met you guys.
Oh no.
And I think it was like it would have been late. Here's why it's interesting. So Melissa is Devin Varmiga's sister-in-law.
Yes.
Oh, nice to meet
Okay.
you.
Don't hold that against me. Don't
Yeah.
hold that against me, guys.
We love Devin.
So the night
Okay.
first time I met Devin was the first time I met you guys.
Oh,
So,
nice.
quick trivia, where did I meet you? It would have been like late 98, early 99. I probably was with Aaron Schwetz and probably Ben Mueller.
I bet you were.
Was it at the Schwetz's house?
No, it
Yeah.
was at a outside
Oh,
place playing an activity.
No idea.
oh, we have one swing and a miss so far.
Man,
I don't know where that would be.
an activity outside.
No, not outside, just not like at someone's house.
Okay,
Okay.
man, Jake.
Do you remember,
I
do you remember Totem Bowl?
Wow, Jake, this is
Totem Bowl
so
in
exciting.
Kirkland.
Totem
Was it
Bowl
like
in
country
Brooklyn.
music night?
I
Oh man.
I think it was like late Cosmic Bowling or something like that. And
Yep.
Devin and Cameron were there. Devin had like swim trunks on with flames on them that he probably got from Pacific Sunwear.
How is your memory
That
this
sounds good.
good?
That sounds very on brand.
Oh, I love it.
On brand for Devin.
Yeah.
Totem Bowl. That's
Yeah.
that's kicking it back,
No
buddy.
kidding. Well, we would have already had a kid by then.
No.
So I was trying to
At
figure out.
99, Julian would have
Oh,
been a
that's
year
true,
old
99.
already.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, so we escaped to the
Yeah.
house to go bowling.
Which probably accounts for a really terrible memory. He was
Yeah.
just probably
Where were you?
so sleep
So what did you do
deprived.
with your kid? Did you just leave it?
Who knows?
Yeah.
We can't remember.
Yeah.
We'll talk
They
about
were
He made it. He's alive. So,
that'll be for our
Good
trauma
job.
episode.
that'll be a
Okay.
different episode.
Yeah, the therapy session.
We love therapy. All good.
ready for it all. The child, the disco ball. We're fine with that as well. And you guys are just raging parents. We get it. It's recorded.
All right. So what we did want to ask you about, I think when we talked about Alkaa on the first podcast, that was the most responses we got for people that wanted to know more about that. Because Melissa was raving about hanging out with Chelsea and how that went.
Happy Chelsea.
Yay.
Oh, and Chelsea.
I didn't know.
So
Yeah.
I didn't know Chelsea had.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea. I didn't know she had such a reaction to alcohol.
Yeah, it was like there'd be times where she would have like not even a glass of wine or just like a glass of wine and wake up the next morning and just feel like not good.
Yeah.
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 So it was like a long time of not being able to like even have like a glass of champagne with like at a get together or something like that.
Yep. Yeah. Champagne's awful too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, the
It's-
effect, the negative effect.
Did you guys research that kind of stuff? Or like, how did you actually come about with like, this is something that we need to do? I mean, besides now, I think a lot of people are like drinking, we're doing mocktails now, like everybody. But like, what made you guys do this?
I think much like Chelsea, she was having those adverse reactions, and it could be a glass of wine. For me, it was a glass of wine. It could be a shot of scotch or champagne, and it was the same. I wouldn't drink that much, But usually that night I would start to feel really bad. And by really bad, I mean sweats, headache, fatigue, like super tired. Even if there was a party going on, I'd be like, just like, trying to keep my eyes open because I'd be so tired. And then the next morning, that night, I would have restless sleep. I would sweat super bad. And I just knew at like 2 or 3 in the morning, I'd wake up, go take some more ibuprofen. But I just knew, I was like, Sunday is going to suck.
Yeah.
It's just going to suck. And sure enough, I wake up and the pounding headache, the migraine, a little bit of nausea, and then I would just try to kill it. Red Bull, coffee, eggs, cereal, sugar, like anything. Ibuprofen again, Excedrin and ibuprofen, and never failed.
Lot. It's like just a normal. You're
just normal,
relaxing evening.
Yeah. And then around 4 or 5. What's that, buddy?
Did you ever try just drinking in the morning to get it to level
out? No, because I felt so bad. I was like, I'm never going to drink again.
Wow.
Right? It just wasn't worth it. And then around 4 or 5 p.m., it was like a switch. And all the symptoms were gone, and I felt just fine. So for a long time, guys, and then we thought it was inexpensive alcohol, right? It was cheap wine, cheap beer, cheap scotch. And we have some mutual friends that have really nice wine and champagne, and the same thing would happen.
Yeah.
Right. So I would do preemptive strikes before we would go out or to somebody's house. I would do charcoal pills, flyby, which was like a vitamin, a preemptive strike, and ibuprofen, and it would help. Right. But it was still headache, foggy. And sometimes it was a crapshoot. Sometimes I'd wake up in the morning and be like, okay, yeah, it felt pretty good. And other times it was just like, it didn't have any effect at all.
It seems to be getting worse as time went on, though. And I think that's a pretty common thing for people as we age, our ability to break down alcohol, it just gets worse. And probably our livers are not as spry as they were when we were in our 20s. So,
yeah.
So then you tried other products then, right? Like, so you tried the charcoal and things. Did you try to find other products that would help?
Yeah, I tried a lot, Jake. I did. I tried flyby, charcoal. I didn't do the Benadryl because a lot of times if you take an antihistamine, that will help. But I just don't like antihistamines. They make me super tired. And then I tried the wine wand, the pure wine wand. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like a little, it's really cool. It's just this little wand with some constituents inside of it. And you stir it in your wine, and it's supposed to take away, the sulfites and the histamines. But it was, again, nothing really like worked, right? So when we left Seattle, on the way out, I don't know, it was kind of an epiphany. Like, I'm going to solve this problem. Like, I'm going to solve it because, it's what guys do sometimes. We're like, how can we solve this problem? But it was kind of daunting because alcohol's been around for thousands of years, and it's 2021 at the time. And there's a ton of people still getting sick or just feeling awful from drinking.
You're only 80 years old, 85 years old at this point.
80. Yeah, at this point, yeah, the liver shot, but we're still going to figure this out, right? So I just during COVID, I just started doing deep dives, like migraines from alcohol. Why do people get sick? What's happening in the body? And again, I'm not a scientist, but we can read articles and just try to figure out what's in alcohol that's causing these problems. So sulfites, I was the sulfite guy. I'm like, it's the sulfites. Because it's on the label. And so I deep dive into sulfites, and sulfites is like of the 6 main constituents in alcohol that cause these problems. Sulfites is like lowest on the list.
And sulfites causes things like anaphylaxis type responses where you have like rashes or itchiness. The sulfites really don't cause headaches. Other things do.
Yeah. So as soon as I found out that sulfites, and this is pretty common, right? A lot of sommeliers and wine people and wine spectator magazine articles, they're like, it's not the sulfites, it's the histamines. And so,
Or the tannins.
yeah.
Or the acetaldehyde.
Well, for us, that's what we figured out.
Yeah.
But
they don't talk about that.
Yeah, generally, it's the sulfites and the histamines. That's like that. That's what's
Every
causing it.
alcohol has a different thing that's in it that is bad for you. I mean, it all has something, but there's specific. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. So wine has its own list of, I'm going to say toxins, because these things are they're not good for the body, right?
They are not.
They're not good. So what wine has these toxins. Any brown liquor like rum, bourbon, or scotch has its own set of toxins. Clear liquor like vodka and gin, if you had to drink without treating it with Alkaa, that's probably going to be the best thing for you to drink, because it's distilled quite heavily, and there's just not a lot of any additives in there, so it's low on the toxin list.
I think it's high in tyramine though.
It is high in tyramine.
So
but of everything,
it's lower in other things, but it's higher in tyramine, and tyramine is the one that's most responsible for headache and migraine. Yeah.
So get
complicated.
A drink, and I'll just write these down briefly.
So
but you don't have to know any of that. You can just know that, first of all, you should be very careful how much alcohol you drink. Anyone,
right?
Like, we just, you get the good advice, right? Like, we know the Bible says don't overdrink. Well, there's a reason. Like, it's really bad for you. There's some really bad stuff in alcohol.
But there's so many people that have a glass of wine and they feel like garbage. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that kind of was frustrating too, because I'm not over drinking.
Right.
I have a crazy hangover, and I just like, how come, when you drink and you feel good, right? You have the joy of heart, and you have a couple beers or a couple glasses of wine and you just feel happy and joyful. And sometimes that would happen, but most of the time I would stress out because I'm like, I'm going to feel like crap after I drink. Right. So again, this deep dive. Oh, what's happening?
Something. And you can't even have a glass of wine with a friend that you've not seen in a couple years. It's like, it's not a big deal, but I mean, Jesus did turn water into wine it's like, it's there.
Yeah, it was stressful, right? Yeah. And sometimes you'd really look forward to a nice glass of wine,
especially with like whatever dinner nice dinner you have. It's like it's that flavor pairing, right?
Yeah. So here's where it gets a little fun, is that there's 6 main toxins in alcohol: sulfites and histamines, which we talked about, acetaldehyde, tyramine, and congeners, tannins, and phenylethylamine or phenylenamine. So it's kind of like an amine. So there's phenylenamine.
All right. So you do you think you're stable now, or do you think you're gonna be?
I just think I think it just keeps going in and out for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
With the acetaldehyde being probably the largest problem in the whole list, and tannins being right behind them.
But you can't take all the tannins out because that's flavor too. And so there has to be a balance of,
if you're watching a chef's show or something, they'll talk about like, the tannins or whatever. And so think like, oh, I want those tannins. And you're like, no, you actually do not want that.
You want some.
Yeah.
But not all.
So how do you, this is where it gets kind of fun, because we need to reduce the load, the toxin load in a drink. Right. And that's where it came into kind of that deep dive research of how do we take out some of the tannins, the acetaldehyde, the sulfites, the congeners, but without changing the taste of the alcohol or the alcohol content itself or the pH balance. So that was kind of the specialty of the recipe, is that the alcohol content remains the same, the taste. And we haven't done massive taste testing, but I can't tell the difference, and I'm fairly picky. Our friends can't tell the difference. If you have really, really cheap wine and you treat it with Alkaa, it makes cheap wine taste better because it takes out some of that tannin load. In cheap wine, they'll actually add tannins to it, right? So it kind of mellows out like the really
Wow,
cheap
that's
wine.
so
If like
fascinating.
you guys get really big, but it's not for helping people, it's just making cheap wine better.
Cheap wine better,
And
right?
you have to change the name and rebrand it.
Cheap wine.
Yeah, what in West Virginia that would go wild. Everybody would be putting it in their Boone's farm. They'd be like, "This is amazing! Yay, we love it!" Like this isn't really for you guys, okay? You guys just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, so that's awesome. So
Yeah.
how do you guys, I mean, not ingredients, like how do you guys make it? Because it's kind of cool, kind of how
So cool.
by the bag, like how you're doing it, but like tell us about that a little bit.
So we make it by hand.
Yeah.
We hand pack every little sachet. And
Ingredients are sourced in the US.
yep, it's all domestic ingredients. And
Wow.
and we tested, you know, we had to find a laboratory because once I figured out what I thought the problem was, right? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure these are the things causing the problems. We tested it like on ourselves.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because I would get nervous. I'm like, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna feel like garbage the next day. And you know, there was quite a few recipes where I'm like, this isn't working.
It's not right.
But we finally got the recipe down, and then I got my brother to help do some testing, and then there's some other friends and your sister. And once we finally got the recipe to where he was like, I drank, I feel great. And I was the same. I was like, man, I drank it and I feel great. Oh, really quick. And if I started the evening with scotch, I had to stick with scotch. I could not do scotch and then wine and then a port, or I couldn't do beer. Like as soon as I mixed, it was like game over.
But now
we're ready.
I can do champagne, and then we can do white wine, red wine, and then a scotch, and then we can finish with like a port.
that's a
You know
lot.
what? I like
That's
the
a-
way
but,
you
know,
guys
over an
dine.
evening,
I like
over
the
an
way you
evening.
guys spend a night. I think this is a really nice mix.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot. That's probably
Good
more
dinner
drinking than
night.
we usually do.
It is
Yeah.
more. But you could the point is you can do that now. I can do that now. So beta testing came back. We were feeling fine. We found a laboratory because I'm like, well, maybe it's just placebo, right? We're putting stuff in our drink and we're like, I feel great. So we found a laboratory and we started doing testing. And then the tests that, you know, I was super nervous because I'm like, what if it comes back and, you know, it just, the numbers don't work, right? But it did come back and the numbers did work.
Can we talk about when we tested the competition?
No.
Oh.
We can, we'll cut it out if you want.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, you can talk about it.
Well, I always I'm like, we need to tell people like what, and he won't do it. I think probably because we don't want to be a target. Probably any of these companies could take us out because we're so little and we just don't have the money behind us.
They can't
right
take us
now.
out.
Right.
Because
They probably could with like whatever amount of money they would throw because we're saying
They're
what
going
we
to be
know.
mad
Here's the
either
thing.
way because
we know what the testing says.
Yeah, it's so
and
bad.
Right.
No, it's no wonder that it didn't really work for you.
Yeah, they're so we tested competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And they claim that it eliminates, you know, X and Y 100%. And
It doesn't.
it's not even close.
No.
And some of the other toxins, like the toxin load, it increased
That was the
toxin
acetaldehyde.
load by like a minimum of like 70%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was so bad that the laboratory tested them again because they're like, something's wrong.
Yeah, they thought they made a
Yeah.
mistake somewhere along their protocol, and so they redid everything on their dime, and it came back the same.
Yeah.
Isn't
Was
that
it taking
nutty?
So
anything
some of
out?
that.
What?
Was it not taking anything out, but just like adding things to kind of counteract the?
It was taking some things out,
Some
and then
things.
somehow it was adding. So when I started to do research on acetaldehyde, and I know it is in cleaning compounds, like in over-the-counter cleaning, you know, or professional type cleaning compounds. I have no idea why that number would jump so high, other than something that they are using as their vehicle. Maybe it's in the stirring, maybe it's in the oh, I just gave it away. Maybe it's in the,
Delete that out.
No, it's
it's
fine.
just so crazy because something they're doing is adding more toxins than what
Well,
they're.
and you're like, how did we in our kitchen figure this out? But you guys, like, that's bizarre.
It is bizarre. And the kicker is that it works in all alcohol. All the competition, they really focus on wine. Wine. And I'm like, I like wine, but I don't like it that much. I really like scotch. Like that's my jam.
But I like wine.
Sarah likes wine. A lot of
Yeah,
guys like beer. You know, and beer, if I had a nice IPA or Belgian, I would get super congested and then I'd get a bad headache. Right. So I wanted it to work in all alcohol. And it did. So we tested in all the alcohols too, and it reduced that toxin load by a pretty hefty percentage.
Wow.
So we'll talk about the ingredients really quick. I won't say what they are just because it's it's a
I
secret.
wouldn't. Are you kidding? I would definitely not.
Yeah. So when we say it's almost all natural, we can say that with a clean conscience. And then there's one constituent or one ingredient that's man-made, but it's a pretty docile ingredient.
Yeah.
But they all work together, and they have synergy, and it creates 5 minutes, you move around, and it kind of acts like a magnet for the bad stuff. And it just
I am like thrilled. I'm buying it immediately. We were at a wedding and Chelsea had it, and it was so nice because she never is able to have just a little drink or whatever. She feels terrible. And she would set her little timer and we would both be like, and it was amazing. I was like, I'm so jealous of you right now. I want to do that too. I don't want to feel like bad tomorrow, even if I didn't drink enough water that day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And my husband is even more like that because he's like, he likes scotch too, but he'll be like, I don't even enjoy drinking that much because I will feel not good sleep, not restful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and put in an order for 200,000. So get ready.
Yay.
I
wish our website was more functional. We're really hammering that this next week with our web designer. There is a back door if you do want to order. So there is a way to, but it's not obvious when you go to the website, which is happily ever Alkaa, ALKAA, happilyeveralkaa.com. There's the little bag icon. Click on that and it'll look like there's no store, but if you click continue shopping, you're in the store. So it's a little back door that's open for those that we tell.
Wow.
When are you hoping to be up and running and
so that's going to depend on our web designer that we're working with. She'll
be over tomorrow.
She'll be over tomorrow, and I don't know how fast she'll be able to implement stuff. We have a lot of our material already ready to go. We just kind of have to shovel it to her. And so
it's kind of weird building a brand that focuses on alcohol.
Yeah.
Right?
It's weird.
It is weird. And so we're trying to be transparent, but also respectful and classy and not
go the frat boy route like a lot of these advertisements that I see on Instagram.
Just like drink, and and we're like,
it's really silly.
We're just kind of going after the people that really don't feel good when they drink,
or that want to have a healthier lifestyle and understand that alcohol does contain a lot of toxins, even if you just have a small amount. I mean, alcohol is a neurotoxin, and it just is. So doesn't matter how much you drink. Alcohol is a neurotoxin. So if you want to lessen that effect, even if you don't feel cruddy after you drink, it's just kind of a way to be more healthful about what you put in your body.
Or if you want your cheap wine to taste better.
Oh man,
Definitely.
Jake, it's insane.
I'm gonna start a separate company. I'll do offshoot brand. It'll be the same product, but
Jake is actually going to just be a competition eventually, but it's just like him hanging out with a bunch of rednecks on the river, like drinking Bud Light. And we're like, Jake, this is not what we want.
Jake, you could call it alcoholic.
No,
right?
don't start that.
Well, I feel like what you guys have done is absolutely fascinating and amazing, and it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been
We're
a fun trip.
excited. Yeah.
It's cool just
Yeah, that's cool.
to know you guys and then have that product come out that helped Chelsea so much. And
Yeah.
have you guys so close and then in the New York area. So I got a bunch of people about it. One of Chelsea's friends messaged her that like it helped her husband or it will help her husband. So
Yeah.
it did help her husband.
Yeah, the reviews are coming in.
Yeah.
And I get really anxious when we ship Alka out. But the reviews are coming in and
they have been for a long time.
Yeah.
That they've been really positive.
It's
That's
been
amazing.
really fun to see. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was so cool. I was so excited to meet you guys and hear about your whole process. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Is there anything else you want to, did we cover everything? Was there anything else you wanted to go over?
Follow us on Instagram
All right.
at Happily Ever Alka. ALKA, Happily Ever Alka.
Cool. We'll link it in the description and we'll probably tag it more.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys.
You guys.
Awesome being
It's
here.
the biggest podcast in 1 to 2 households in the United States.
Yeah.
So you're really reaching the people.
I've watched every podcast that you guys have put out. So
Oh man, hot vodka is I was dying.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I was
I had to
I don't know who
to
this lady
scale
is, but
that
fuck her.
back. To scale it back.
It's so funny.
You poor thing.
It was so bad. It was not only was it so bad because it sounded so terrible, like who am I hanging out with? What is my life? But it actually hurt my ass.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have any weigh in real fast on the Taylor Swift controversy discussion?
You know
Are
what,
you
Jake?
pro, anti, indifferent?
I saw Taylor Swift on what, America's Got Talent or American Idol.
Yeah.
Was she on American Idol?
No.
Oh.
No,
Okay,
she's
well, that
straight
tells
up
you how much
celeb.
I know about Taylor
Straight up
Swift.
celeb.
Kelly Clarkson.
I'm just gonna bow out.
Man, we're just not top
Right.
40-ish kind of.
No. Paul, you're gonna get heat.
When you say
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson.
You know what? Let me rephrase that. I love Taylor Swift.
There you go.
I do.
People are
I
gonna
love
love this guest. They're gonna
the
love
song-
this guy.
The songwriting,
What's
the
your-
passion, the energy.
We don't not like
Favorite-
it. I just don't think we
Yeah.
know. We really know any of the songs.
I
What's
can't
your
handle
favorite
it.
Taylor Swift song?
They're gonna have to come back again after they
Um,
listen to Taylor.
So I can
Yeah.
tell you my favorite Taylor Swift song because I literally said this at the service meeting today when I was responsible for all of the sound problems that were happening, and I said I'm the problem. It's me. So that's my favorite song.
That's good.
Okay. Well, on that note, what are some song recommendations from you guys for this week to put on the playlist?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have mine because I knew you were going to do this because I've been a faithful listener for the last 2 weeks or whatever.
We love it. We love it.
So if you like Icelandic techno, or even if you don't,
No.
check out Roiksop. Eple, EPLE. Eple is the song. It is so happy. It'll make you. It'll make your butt cheeks want to just jump out of your chair and dance, and it's just awesome.
Oh, that's so fun.
And then Alabama Shakes, their song "Sound and Color" is awesome.
I love it.
That's good.
And my last one is Radiohead, Weird Fishes / Arpeggio.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Down.
There's some good songs.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Paul, what do you
For me, it's going to be Porcelain by Moby.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
It's a pretty famous song for him, followed by Teardrop by Massive Attack. Kind of remember the house theme song?
Uh-huh.
So Teardrop by Massive Attack. And then kind of a weird one, obscure. It's called Carrera by a band called Spunk. It's still one man band. But he speaks to me like how Taylor speaks to the teens.
See, it's a connection.
Lee, how
There's
Taylor
like an
speaks to Lee.
emotional.
Yeah. Oh, there's a
Connection.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my three. Yeah. Samobi and some Massive Attack and Spunk
Say
Shine.
that last one again.
100% hands down best songs ever.
Okay, wow. Say
It's
that.
called Carrera.
Carrera.
Carrera by Spunk Shine.
Is it spelled like the car?
Spunk Shine, like the car?
Carrera.
Oh, okay, Carrera.
Oh.
I was like, boy, Carrera is Kerrea. Carrera, Kerra.
So not like the car.
Yeah, and Spunk Shine is just one word.
Gotcha.
Yeah, funny name.
We're gonna have Sarah
music.
on separately just to talk about cars because she knows more than you do, I guess.
Yeah.
This
Yes,
does not fit.
Cars.
This does not fit with our life at all. Like, I don't even know how that happened. You must be really nervous to talk about Alkaa because
Carrera. That's pretty funny.
Talk about cars.
All right, Melissa, what are your three?
Okay, so my first one is going to be like one of my top favorite songs of all time. I didn't put it on last time because I just was trying to like do more obscure stuff, but it would be the Cornfield Chase song from Hans Zimmer, just the instrumental.
Oh.
Interstellar.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's from Interstellar.
Epic.
Yeah,
We
Epic.
love
so
his
good.
Hans.
Did you catch that?
Yeah,
It's Korn. Your favorite song from Korn? What's Chelsea knew exactly what song you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
Nice.
already knows that really resonates.
Yeah.
And the funky one I want to say, is the song is called Puddles, and the band is called, or the girl is called Daniela Andrade. So Andrade is her last name.
Okay.
And then third one is going to be Slipping Away by Leisure.
By Weezer?
Leisure.
Leisure. Slipping
Like
Away by Leisure.
Also, let's be clear. I love Weezer, but I would never say one of my favorite songs was by Weezer. Weezer had their moment, but you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Here comes the hate for Melissa. Hard.
All those Weezer fans are gonna come after you.
You talk about Taylor, I talk about Weezer, we get canceled.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think I'm locked in. First song is called Warning by Lasers Birmingham. It's my first one. Second one is Sunrise by Simply Red. That's a real,
Oh, I think I know that one.
yeah, if you heard it, you know it.
Yeah.
And then the last one, because we haven't talked about Turnstile yet and the Turnstile's a big friend of the pod. It's called Can't Get Away by Turnstile.
I'll look forward to listening to all of those.
Yeah, same.
So
Turnstile will
Music, so it'll be fun.
this.
what'd you
I
say,
mean,
Melissa?
I said the Turnstile will probably want to be on the pod after this.
They're gonna, yeah. All the
We've
Turnstile
got the
Everyone.
famous Alkaa creators.
Yeah.
We've got
Moby.
Turnstile coming up. I mean,
coming on in the near future.
You're gonna have people beating the door down to get on your podcast.
More voice messages from Nika. Angry voice messages. It'll be fun.
I
Lots to
love
look
that.
forward to. Thank you, Paul and Sarah, for being with us.
Yes,
You're welcome, guys.
it's
Thanks for
so
having
cool.
us.
It
It's our
was-
first ever podcast.
Ever.
I love it. I'm telling you, get your fingers ready to stuff those sachets because
ready.
you're about to go it's unhinged. Your company.
More unhinged than we already are. Okay.
What?
Oh man. All right. Well, thank
And
you
they're
guys.
also, I just have
Oh.
to say this one joke. They're also unhinged without the bad tannins. They're just enough unhinged. They're the,
Just enough.
Yes.
You can just-
Manageable amount of crazy.
yeah.
Done.
You can force me to leave the meeting now, Jake. It's fine. It's
No.
fine. It's a
No,
terrible
you-
joke.
You're here to stay. This is your fault.
Okay, okay. It was awesome meeting you guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you guys.
Nice
You guys
meeting
Take
you.
care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Well, you were exhausting, and I'm done with talking to you.
I think I actually need to roll around in some glass I found in an apartment earlier, so I have to get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta go bash myself across the head with a baseball bat. But it's been great.
I'm glad you got to see me.